For what? Just kill the threats. Do you understand? Kill those threats. I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Good morning, evening, afternoon, depending on what time you're watching. I'm Sean Sims, host of the Outsiders podcast, and that is where you are right now. Last week I said it, I'm going to say it again. Get yourself another box of popcorn. Get yourself another soda pop, because this is going to be part two. Part two from last week and what's going on with the Conaway clan, WOLB, AM 1010 call-in interview, if you will, I conducted, and what had happened in that interview and the ramifications. And I'm going to start off because yesterday it was 80 degrees. We went for a walk. My wife and I went for a nice walk. It's 80 degrees. It was gorgeous. Then later on you had rain, thunderstorm, and before that it was really nice. Another 80. Today it's snowing. It's 30 degrees outside and it's snowing. Is this insane? This is the Baltimore, Maryland weather. And I was quite excited for the Ravens. My team, as everybody knows, quite excited. We were going to get Max Crosby. I'm like, this is great. We're going to have a pass rush, and he fails the physical, the knee. One of the wheels is not operating quite right. So he failed the physical, but we picked up. But this is better because Max was with the Raiders, and they're not in our division, but we picked up someone from our division. Trey Hendrickson, a pass rushing machine, and he's from our division. This new coach, can't even get it out. Ravens' new head coach, Minton. I'm liking this guy because that hardball, that bubblehead, the moves he made. I'm liking this guy. Picked him up from the Bengals, 4-year, $112 million. So I'm looking forward to this season and us getting to the big one, getting to the Super Bowl. And in the political realm, I'm going to be trying to get some candidates on who are running for office. We're in the political campaign season, and one of the guys, I met with him at the Lincoln Douglas Freedom Dinner. And that is Bernie Flowers. Bernie Flowers is running for Congress. So Bernie said he'll do the show, come on the podcast. So I'm going to get him. I haven't had any guests on in a little bit. So I'm going to get him on. And a young man, Dominic Martin, is running for state delegate. So we'll see if I can get these two on the show, as well as some others. So the people need to know about the candidates. They need to know who you're electing. You need to know that, who you're electing and what they're all about. So those gentlemen and some others will be getting on the show. And I'd like to thank my Twitter folk. I mean, at 165,000 impressions and views, and another 55,000 impressions and views. So my Twitter folk, that's all picking up. Now I want to go to this first. Let's go to this first. There, for whatever reason, officials, even elected officials, I'll be talking about that more in the future, but and today specifically two elected officials, but something's going on. Let's take a look at this story.
Confirmed. We're joined now by CBS News Justice correspondent Scott McFarland. Scott, so Break down for our viewers what's going on with these ethics charges and what's the DOJ saying.
Vlad, Ed Martin is not a household name, but he's really working on it by amassing controversy after controversy from a relatively obscure position inside the U.S. Department of Justice. He is responsible for less than 1% of the work in that agency, but he is responsible for a growing percentage of the headlines. According to ethics investigators in Washington, D.C., in the District of Columbia itself, Ed Martin sent a letter to Georgetown University last month in which he threatened to strip the university of its internships or other placements inside the Department of Justice for its students or for its associates because he said he'd learned Georgetown was teaching DEI. Didn't really specify what that means or what constitutes teaching DEI, but he listed that as the reason. The ethics investigation found issues with him using his power and his position and the Department of Justice's might itself to try to go after a private university without due process. The Department of Justice has responded to this action by the ethics board in D.C., arguing that that ethics board and the D.C. bar agency responsible for it is politicized and that it's showing itself to be political, and they say they're trying to target and punish those serving President Trump. They also make an argument that a similar scrutiny should have been placed to those who worked under Presidents Biden and Obama. This is not a criminal case. This is not a criminal matter, but it does raise the profile further of Ed Martin, who, among other things, is helping President Trump issue all those pardons.
Well, okay, we have an elected, no, not elected, but an official, and it looks like that he's made some threats to another agency. That's not good. You don't. These threats that have been going out, people seem, officials and elected officials seem comfortable putting out threats against, I guess in this case, an agency. And I'm going to go segue into this, and this is February 27th. This is the call-in. I was invited. Transparency. I'm Mr. Transparency. I've been going over in detail what has been going on. I was invited to call in, to question two elected officials. I was invited to be on the Frank Conaway Senior Show, WOLB 1010 AM. I was invited by Carlton Douglas, the host, because he said he was going to have two guests on his show. Belinda Conaway, Register of Wills, and her son, Xavier Washington, who changed his name to Conaway, who is the clerk of the Circuit Court for Baltimore City. I have questions regarding scathing audits done by the Office of Legislative Audits for both of their respective offices, the Register of Wills office and the clerk of the court, Circuit Court office. So, for whatever reason, Carlton decides to say things, and I'm going to go over it. And you have an elected official behaving in a way which is, what can I say? Damaging to her? Well, both. But I'm going to get into that. So let's go ahead and so you all can hear the interview. I played part of the interview yesterday, but I'm going to play some of it, and I'm going to play parts you didn't hear. You did not hear. So that my audience and people on YouTube, so you can hear what was said on the interview, on air, questions to two elected officials by yours truly, who was invited.
My question is to Belinda, and I did read off of the audit itself. Now, my question to Belinda is this. Actually, there's two. The first one, Paris E. Smith. Was Paris E. Smith taken away at a hearing, at a state hearing at the Circuit Court last year by the Sheriff's Office in jailed? And the second question is the same office, the Office of Legislative Audits,
That wasn't my question. I didn't ask you that question, Register of Wills Belinda Conaway. That wasn't my question. My question is, did the Office of Legislative Audits, okay, some people can't hear too well, or they want to deflect, did the Office of Legislative Audits find $1.1 million unaccounted for in your office? That was my question. She didn't answer the question. The answer is yes, they did. She said, oh, none of the money's unaccounted for. Oh, really? You know that you're on the radio, you're saying this. You know that you told the whole world this on the radio. It's unaccounted for. That's a genuine dispute of material fact that you created on the radio. So for your attorneys who are handling this, I'm giving you a little, this is what she did. She put that out there. Let's continue.
Now, what about the first question? I'm at the sheriff's office, so that's a question for the sheriff's office about Paris Smith being taken off by whoever she was taken by, but that's not a question.
What do you mean whoever she was taken by? It was at a hearing. Paris D. Smith versus Central Booking and Intake, Belinda Conaway, the Sheriff's Department, Corey Hannibal, I believe his name, and someone else. Lowenthal, I think her name is. So you can go and read it on Pacer. So I don't know what she's talking about. She's acting like she has no idea what's going on. I guess I was at home. I don't know what you from what Paris Smith is saying, you were there. So let's go on.
Who was Paris Smith in my office? Who was Paris Smith? That's me? Yeah. Oh, Paris D. Smith has a civil lawsuit.
Now let's go back. I told Carlton Douglas, because this is, I'm just going to call it like it is. You have an interview taking place, and you have the Three Stooges. You got Pimp Daddy, the cowardly pimp, Carlton Douglas, the cowardly pimp from Baltimore. Like you had the cowardly lion in The Wizard of Oz. You had the cowardly lion. You have the cowardly pimp. Pimping for the monster in the moo-moo and the terror in the tutu. Pimping for the Conaways. Baltimore's own metastasizing cancer, known as the Conaways, the cancer, as far as I'm concerned, to the city. So let's continue. Oh, and another thing, you're gonna hear something that's said, and it was taken very seriously when it was said.
You can go on Pacer and look it up. Paris D. Smith versus Central Booking and Intake, Belinda Conaway, Sheriff's Office, and I believe someone else. So she has a civil lawsuit, and in it she alleges that during a hearing, an estate hearing, that she was taken by the sheriff and jailed without a judge knowing about it. Let me address this before you even go down this and try to make any allegations. I do not have the authority to incarcerate anyone, or more importantly, release them from incarceration.
Okay, very interesting. Very interesting. The Register of Wills says she does not have the authority to incarcerate anyone. Oh, really? You don't have the authority to incarcerate anyone. I didn't ask you if you had the authority to incarcerate anyone, Belinda Conaway. That question wasn't asked. You just threw that out there. Now let's see what authority she does have. Here's the authority that you do have, Belinda Conaway, that you didn't tell the people. And this is Maryland Rule 6-452. Removal, ouch, removal of a personal representative. Here it is, 652A, commencement. The removal of a personal representative may be initiated by the court or the register, which is the Register of Wills, or on a petition of an interested person. That can take place at a hearing. So that's called deceiving people. And that's what she said. That's what she alleged in her federal lawsuit, that you had her removed. Let's go on. And oh, wait. I don't like just singing it. I'm going to bring it. Here it is. You can read it. You can pause this and read what it says. That is a Maryland rule. Let me get a little closer so you can see. Okay? And that's what Paris D. Smith alleged, that she was removed at your behest. Belinda Conaway, Register of Wills, during the hearing, the estate hearing.
So why you are calling here with this foolishness, asking me about someone being taken away? That is not under my authority. We do paperwork in my office.
Whoa, stop. Whoa. She said that is not under her authority regarding someone being taken away. Didn't I just read, Maryland Rule 4 or 6-452? That's a bald-faced lie. Bald-faced lie by the Register of Wills, Belinda Conaway. Let's continue.
Do you understand that? I understand there's a lawsuit against you, so a lawsuit. Well, but there is a civil rights lawsuit in the court system against the booking and intake, and against you, Belinda Conaway. Okay, anybody can bring a lawsuit for anything they want, but before I get into the listeners, you have a vendetta against my family.
Whoa. Now she's making an accusation against me. The accusation, and they like using the word vendetta. The clerk of the court, Xavier Conaway, said that the judges behave like the mafia. What do they like, the movie The Godfather? They like mafia movies or something? So I have a vendetta against the Conaways. Let me explain something here. Nick Mosby. Does Nick Mosby have, because there was a big thing with Nick Mosby and Belinda Conaway. And Nick got her, she lost the seat, city council, because Nick whooped her, beat her. Did Nick Mosby have a vendetta against you? Wait a minute, wait. CBS News, they're the ones who reported on your issue with Office of Legislative Audit. Do they have a vendetta against you? Who else? Paris D. Smith. Does she have a vendetta against you? Because she's suing you in federal court. Who else? Fox News. Fox News reported what happened with the Office of Legislative Audits. Do they have a vendetta against you, Belinda, your family? The Office of Legislative Audits. They did the audit. There was a whistleblower. Did the whistleblower have a vendetta against you and your family, Belinda? I mean, who else has a vendetta against you and your family? Isabel Cumming? Does Isabel Cumming have a vendetta? Oh, the reason I'm bringing her up is because your son on the same broadcast said that, let me read it. I'm not going to play it. I've already played it. Go back to my other show previous and play it. I have so many clips, but let me go ahead and read it and get my bearings here. I think people like Inspector General Cumming, people like them who actually want to make sure that we're doing our best and giving us that advice to make sure our offices are running the best way possible. That's a quote from Xavier Conaway, Circuit Court Clerk for Baltimore City during the Frank Conaway Senior Show, Friday, February 27, 2026. I sent this to Belinda. I'm sorry, take that back. Isabel. I sent this to Isabel Cumming, and to find out, did you advise his office? And the answer, let me show you her answer, because it was no. No. Here's the question, and a few more, and here's the end. No. So does she have a vendetta against the Conaways because she didn't back you up? She didn't back up Xavier on that? To say that she had advised his office? So think, what is the wording? Advised his office to make sure our offices are running the best way possible. And I put this out on Twitter, because I have a good audience on Twitter. And I put this out, and my man, John Dede is a political analyst, and he does commentary for Fox, WBFF Fox. And I put that out on Twitter. Here it is. Oh, let me read it. I put it out regarding the circuit court in Conaway. Who's lying? Who's lying? Is Isabel coming in regards to this? In regards to advising a state agency, a city agency, OIG, advising a state agency, is she not telling the truth? Is she lying, or is the circuit court clerk Xavier Conaway, did he lie on air? Here's John Dede's response. As you can see, here's his response. Conaway, because state agencies are out of the city IG jurisdiction. So let's continue.
And that's fine, because we live in a country with freedom of speech. So in the spirit of Frank Conaway, let me say to you, if you don't like my peaches, don't shake my tree. Stay out of the Conaway orchard.
Excuse me? Now she, as far as I'm concerned, that's a threat for me to stop reporting on and doing my podcast and investigating, looking into this, to stay out of the Conaway orchard. Now I took this seriously. Said, is the Register of Wills an elected official? Is she threatening me on air right now? So I'm thinking, is this a threat? What do you mean, stay out of the Conaway orchard? What do you mean? What are you talking about? So I'll continue with it.
Informing the community. Okay. Now let me say something here, because Sean has not been transparent.
Now you hear this. The cowardly pimp. He got a yellow streak 2 miles long and a 1/4 mile wide down his back. Was muting me out so you couldn't hear what I was saying. What I was saying to the public on air, because he muted it out because he's a coward. Let's go ahead. Let's listen to the cowardly pimp.
And I'm saying this because I understand he goes on his podcast.
And I understand he goes on his podcast and he's not being transparent. Actually, the word is transparent. It's not parent. It's transparent. Learn the King's English. Let's continue to listen to this.
Trying to be blowing my name up. I don't blow his name up on this show. I've said endlessly before, I ain't getting no pissing match with no...
Well, I ain't getting in no pissing match with no other podcaster. This guy is, I mean, he should have a cartoon. Somebody should do a cartoon with this guy. Let's go on.
Other radio talk show hosts or no podcaster. I don't even look at podcasts, okay? Now, what some of y'all don't know, and Sean has not been transparent about things concerning the Conaway, is that last year, he had me meet with him and Mr. Barry Chapman at Applebee's down in Mondawmin.
Stop. Now, first, when you tell a story talking about being transparent, make sure you have your facts straight. Either you have Alzheimer's, onset dementia, or something going on in that brain of yours, or you just purposely telling people a lie. Okay, here is the screenshot. As you can see on my phone, I set up the meeting, and it says at Applebee's, Reisterstown Plaza. Okay, so there's no Applebee's at Mondawmin, dumbbell. And I set the meeting up because, and this is being transparent, Bishop Barry Chapman represented many circuit court employees over years, many years, almost, what, 30 years. So anyway, he said that, and you can ask him, that and the people working there said Xavier Conaway is the worst clerk they've ever dealt with, the worst. He was getting many complaints about Xavier Conaway and his mistreatment of his employees, the civil rights violations, harassments, firings, retaliation, on and on and on. So he wanted to meet with Xavier Conaway to discuss the seriousness of the situation. And basically to have him stop and to behave himself, act like he has some sense. That's why it's called the terror in the tutu. So they couldn't, the meeting, for whatever reason, they couldn't get the meeting together. And it didn't happen. So I got involved because Bishop said he was trying to meet with Colton Douglas. Since Colton Douglas is close, very close, to the Conaway family. So I got involved and I put the meeting together because they were having issues putting the meeting together. It was at the Applebee's at Wrightstown Plaza on March the 10th. We met and Bishop went over his many concerns about the treatment of the employees, the horrific treatment, the tyranny, the abuse of power at the hands of Xavier Conaway. Now, he may come on the radio and seem just as nice as sunshine, and he's speaking, and he went to Temple University, and he changed his name from Washington to Conaway, and he seemed just as nice and friendly and just as mom's apple pie. That is not the case, okay? As far as my opinion goes, he's a horrible person. He's evil. He's an evil, horrible, rotten, spoiled brat. That's what he is. And the treatment of the people is horrific. So don't believe this, oh, I'm Xavier Conaway, and he's nice. No, that's fake. Don't believe that. So anyway, Bishop went over his concerns, and towards the end of the meeting, for whatever reason, Colton decides to bring in Belinda Conaway and asks Bishop, well, you know Belinda's upset with you. Not will be upset, upset. She's upset with you, Bishop, because you didn't go to her about your concerns. First of all, she's a register of wills. You're a register of wills. The son's the clerk of the court. That's not your concern, period. So why would he be coming? And she's upset about it. So my input was what was happening, and you can read all about it because it's public information. You can read about it in Pacer. It's Teresa Sims, my lovely wife, versus the state of Maryland. It's in Pacer. What happened? The allegations, etc., what was said. So I just asked Colton, look, retaliation's still going on with my wife. It's not stopping. He needs to back off of that because my wife was massively stressed out with the situation. So I asked him, okay, just Xavier Conaway, back off for stressing my wife and going after and retaliating against her. There. And then that was the end of the meeting. Okay? That's called, what I just did is called true transparency. What Colton Douglas did is being a fake, a phony, a coward, and a liar. Let's continue. No. Stop. No. Bishop did not go to meet with Colton Douglas to complain about the Conaways, plural. Just the treatment by one Conaway towards his employees that was horrific treatment that he wanted to meet with him about. So that's a lie. Let's go on.
And then, ladies and gentlemen, as they say, it's a vendetta.
No, there's no vendetta. Just like Nick Mosby didn't have a vendetta, the CBS News, Fox News didn't have a vendetta, Paris D. Smith, she doesn't have a vendetta, Office of Legislative Audits, the whistleblower who went to the Office of Legislative Audits. No. We just want to shine light on a situation where people are doing things that we consider dangerous, hazardous, safety, health, and violations at the circuit court, rats at the Mitchell building, and other issues. Audits being done, scathing audits that took place. So we just want to let people know, wait a minute, these people that are out here smiling and everybody's against us, oh dear Lordy, where is it? Everybody's against us, and we kind of in there. Here's a tissue for your issue, Belinda. That's what's going on. So let's continue.
It is, and he also making all these airwaves and on his podcast, trying to get some kind of traction, but not giving you the whole story. Okay, and I'm here to tell you what the whole story was.
And he also doesn't disclose that he claimed to be the campaign manager for someone who ran last go round.
No. First of all, it's out there. I'm a campaign advisor, bubblehead. I've never been a campaign manager. I've advised or been a strategist or involved in multiple campaigns. Up from the Obama campaign to the Early campaign and other local campaigns. And the campaign she's speaking of is Kim Banks ran for clerk of the court. Now, of course, Xavier ended up terminating her, firing her, because she ran against him. They said it's for another reason. No, she ran against him and he ended up terminating her with the help of Sheriff Kogan. Okay? That's what happened. So let's continue.
I mean, just be honest about what you do.
Listen, talking about honest. Really? Let's be honest. Oh, I don't have any authority to remove anybody. Really? Maryland Rule 6-452, removal of personnel representative. Register wills can do that. So let's talk about honesty, Belinda. Let's go on.
And then the other thing I don't understand, if you hate the Conaways.
First of all, you stupid idiot, I don't hate anyone at all. No one's asked me, hey Sean, do you hate the Conaways? I wasn't asked that. I'm not on right now doing this segment right here. I'm not on the call because he dropped me off the call. So that's just them running their mouths. I don't hate the Conaways. I was friends with Frank Conaway Sr., your father, bubblehead. Would go to the office. He would share his business ventures that he was going into, because I was a businessman, he was a businessman, and we would talk over that. And he had this big, huge chair. And yes, the door was open. You can go right in. And Desiree Dotson and myself would meet with him on several occasions. Met him at A. Dwight Pettit's fundraiser for Bob Ehrlich. And we were cool ever since. However, you obviously have some issues. Your son, he's got some serious issues. You two are nothing like your dad. Do I hate you? No. Do I feel sorry for you? Do I pity you for what you're doing to people, and the fact that God don't like ugly, and for you to act like you two are just as nice? I feel sorry for you. I really do. Because if you think that my Heavenly Father is just going to let you two get away with what you're doing and just walk away, you know, he deals with that. I don't deal with that. He deals with that. So this craziness, he hate that so much. It sounds like, you know, what's that all about, Belinda? I just feel sorry for you. I think you're a pathetic human being. And I think your son is a pathetic human being. Now let's continue.
Why do you keep calling the Conaway show?
Oh yeah. First of all, it's a radio show. Colton, I do know Colton. I've known Colton for a long time. I didn't know he was such a cowardly pimp. I didn't know he was to this point pimping for you and your son to tear in a tutu. I didn't know all that. So he and I mean, my grandfather helped bailed him out years ago when he was in big trouble. And he won't talk about it because he's a coward. So, this thing you're talking about, you're way off base, lady. Way off base.
I think he hates the fact that his wife doesn't have that job anymore.
No, I do not hate the fact. Here we go with hate. I do not hate the fact that my wife does not have that job anymore. Okay? Numbnuts. Let's continue.
He's trying to, I guess, stand up for his wife.
Stuff started long before that. It's all, everything is venom and hate.
No, it's not venom and hate, Bubblehead. It's just letting people know, was it venom and hate when CBS News put the story out? Fox News put the story out? Was that venom and hate? I mean, if anybody says anything against this woman or her twinkle-toed son, then it's venom and hate. And no, it's not. People just want to let people know, look, this is what you're really dealing with. Let's continue.
It's always a big deal about something that's going on, and it's never the full story that's the focus. You're accused of kidnapping, but I want to let you know something, Sean. If I start kidnapping people, I promise you'll be the first to know the full story that's the focus. You're accused of kidnapping, but I want to let you know something, Sean. If I start kidnapping people, I promise you'll be the first to know.
Now, when an elected official goes on a radio show, tells you to stay out of their business, the family business, Conaway Orchard, whatever, then later on makes a true threat, because this is what our family took it as, a true threat of a violent crime, kidnapping. No different as if she had said, hey, if I've been accused of murder, let me tell you something, Sean. If I decide to start murdering people, you'll be the first to know. Or any other crime other than the kidnapping. Just change the crime and put it in. Kidnapping is a violent crime. She's an elected official. My family and I took this true threat seriously. It's not a joke. It's not a tee-hee-hee laughing moment. We took this seriously and we went to the authorities. The situation is being dealt with properly, and I will keep you all abreast of what I can tell you in the future. But again, I'm pointing out, we took this true threat from Belinda Conaway against my life on air. We took it very seriously. So let me go ahead and continue. This is, speaking of, because she doesn't like the fact that I'm letting you know all this. Stay out of the Conaway Orchard. She doesn't like the fact that I'm doing it, and I'm going to go ahead and play it, whether she likes it or not. I'm going to go ahead and play this story. Let me go back to the video.
Prior details where the money went and why it's raising red flags. Rebecca?
Yeah, investigators found that the office spent, but couldn't justify spending more than $1 million on promotions and marketing. And now, a state ethics board is taking a closer look.
When imagining the work done inside a public agency, handling wills and estates, most people think paperwork and probate, not manicure kits and media deals. But a new state audit paints a troubling picture over how Baltimore's Register of Wills is spending your tax dollars. Investigators finding the office paid more than $1 million on media and promotions, including $200,000 on an informational television show that was never. aired.
Okay, $1 million? $200,000 on a promotional show that never aired? And you want to talk about being transparent and honest?
And $1,300 on 500 manicure sets, branded with the office's slogan, "Where there's a will, there's a way." For comparison, auditors looking at 3 similarly sized register of wills. One, spending nothing on promotions. Another, $350 on pens. And a third, $2,500 on pens, calendars, and other items.
Apparently, this audit was long overdue.
Taxpayer advocate David Williams weighing in.
This shows that even the most benign agency can waste money and have problems.
Williams noting auditors found no justification for the spending and suspect in some cases the city's competitive bidding process was intentionally skirted.
There could be corruption tied to this. People need to see who the vendors are, where the money went, if there are any ties within the register of wills to make sure that someone in this agency hasn't been profiting off of this.
The audit also raising concerns over employee oversight, finding evidence one employee with a 6-figure salary was repeatedly absent from work, and another accidentally paid $5,000 after they left the job.
This can't go unanswered. There has to be responsibility put on someone, and really it starts at the top.
In a letter, the city's Register of Wills, Belinda Conaway, a longtime city official, calling each of the allegations unsubstantiated, but adding the recommendations are appreciated and will be taken into consideration. In response, auditors stressing their findings are backed by facts.
You can't spend $1 million on promotions and media and $200,000 on a TV show and not have some repercussions.
While no legal action is being taken, auditors did refer some findings to the state's Ethics Commission. Conaway is also up for re-election next year. Williams warning excessive spending could soon cost her at the ballot box.
I think this is going to weigh heavily on voters as they decide the next Register of Wills.
Not today.
Yeah, I think it should weigh extremely heavily on voters to decide the next Register of Wills. If that's what you want, I mean, Baltimore, state of Maryland, the most corrupt state and city, top tier. I don't know, top 2, 3, most corrupt in the country. And then you have the governor, he doesn't even want a state office of Inspector General. He doesn't want one. So here you go. And here's another one, and it wasn't just covered by Fox. Fox News covered this report, but it was covered by others.
We're looking through an audit of Baltimore City's Office of the Register of Wills that claims your tax dollars were wasted and abused. The audit says the office spent almost $200,000 on a TV show that never aired before even finding out if there was real interest in it. The office also spent $1 million on media and promotion about the importance of estate planning, but couldn't document why that money was necessary or how exactly it would help. The audit also found one employee was paid without evidence that they were regularly working, and another was paid $5,000 after she left the job because she was still on the payroll. The Registrar's office is disputing these allegations and says they're unsubstantiated, but it did recognize the value of the audit's recommendations and said they'd make changes in the future.
Oh, please. I have something here. This is another story. News from the States. Register of Wills office. And it looks like, let's see, I have somebody's name in here. I'm just going to go ahead and read it. I mean, Brian Sears, story from him. The hiring of an employee in the Baltimore City office of the Register of Wills has been referred to the State Ethics Commission for review according to the Office of Legislative Audits. Our review did not identify any matters that warranted referral to the Office of the Attorney General Criminal Division. Oh, really? Let me get this straight. Stop right there. Stop right there. Because I'm in it this high. I just jumped into it. You know what the it is. This high from that statement. Sheila Dixon got popped for, I guess after whittling everything down, got popped for $600. gift cards. $600. She had to give up her office, being mayor, when it came at $600. Now you got over $1 million over a 7-year period, which means I guess it was ongoing, allegedly. Not allegedly, this is what it says. For 7 years. Over $1 million. And he says, Brian S. Tannen, he wrote this, legislative auditor, our review did not identify any matters that warranted referral to the Office of the Attorney General Criminal Division. Brian, are you serious? Brian, as far as I'm concerned, this puts you in the clown mode. I can't take you seriously. You're full of bullshit to make a statement like that. I would say it should have been. Let's continue. And so do other people. So did the population of the city. Everyone I talked to said the same thing. Why isn't it going to criminal? Over $1 million? Unaccounted for? Brian Tannen? Brian, you have no, I gave him some kudos last time. Take it back. I'm taking those kudos. I'm taking everything I said back. You have no credibility. None. I don't care if you were there for 30 years. I don't care if you are Methuselah and you were there for 300 years as the legislative auditor. You have no credibility. None. No wonder this is one of the most, if not the most corrupt states in the country, with the most corrupt city in the country. Minneapolis, Minnesota, they probably came and took notes from us. But that's okay because the DOJ is coming, baby. What else was said? Register of Wills, Belinda Conaway, in nearly identical written responses, disputed each allegation, calling each finding unsubstantiated. No, it's substantiated. They went and found it. The only problem is Brian, who's a clown to me, Brian S. Tannen, is a sellout to me. Say, oh, no, don't send it to criminal. Over $1 million? Boy, are you out of your mind? Are you crazy? You must have lost. This is crazy. One who had been hired in 2015 was paid a salary of $106,000. That's taxpayers' money at the time of the audit, but was routinely not at work. They said they could not determine how often the employee came into the office. Quote, we attempted to locate the employee during several site visits. However, the employee was not at the office. What? The audit said. Quote, we subsequently requested sign-in sheets for the days in question and noted the employee was on leave on each of the days in question, end quote. There's more real quick. Something about a manicure. Here it is. Also, auditors also substantiated allegations that Conaway's office, Belinda Conaway, Register of Wills office, spent more than $1 million on questionable promotion materials. What the hell are you promoting with Register of Wills for $1 million? Oh no, I'm not gonna advise us to go to criminal division. Brian S. Tannen, yeah, I'm back on you. Clown ass. Including payments of nearly $200,000 to create an informational television show that was never aired. There's more on this. This is a joke. That should have went straight to criminal division. Over $1 million of taxpayers' money, boy. Are you crazy? This is what I'm talking about. But you know what? I found something. I found a video. And this is interesting. You all need to watch this because this is on YouTube and this is a video.
Why any person can't get appointed if they're in the same class. They've changed the law. We now have a spouse and the children are in the same class. So if the child comes in, we will open up their estate providing they have all the things that they need.
Yes, this is Belinda Conaway. This is a Register of Wills video. Promotion. It was put on YouTube 6 months ago. Now they mentioned something about $200,000 of promotion. I'm not going to use the million. Let's use $200,000. There are, you can go check it. You can go check it. There are, how many? 13 views. There are 13 views of this video, and the Register of Wills, you can go on. She has a site on YouTube that says Register of Wills. You can check it. Has what? 5 subscribers? 5 subscribers. So I don't know if she spent any of that $200,000 or $1 million on this. And as you can see, they went all out. I mean, the background, the amount of money they paid for the background on this, as you can see, the amount of money they put out must have been, I mean, just to get that look. I mean, it's got to be top notch. And the outfits, I mean, the clothing expenses, I mean, look at that. Monster and the Moo Moo must have been out of this world. And the lighting, the table, that must have cost a great deal of money to put this together with 13 views, $200,000. Let's say hypothetically, this is what she spent the $200,000 on. I don't know. With 13 views, that's like, they spent about $15,000, $16,000 per view for 13 views. Let that sink in. I'm going to continue because this is interesting. You got to see this. You got to hear this.
Now, we will protect the interests of the other heirs because if the threshold is over to $10,000, we're required by law to have a bond. That bond protects them dollar value, dollar for dollar. So if there's misappropriation, you can always go against the bond.
Well, did you hear that? Misappropriation? Oh, if there's misappropriation, you can always go against the bond. Let's continue. This is interesting.
To basically receive your inheritance or whatever portion of the estate that you're entitled to.
Okay, so if the personal representative does not do what they're supposed to do, let's say there's a bank account and the funds are not distributed the way that they're supposed to be, that would be the purpose of the bond.
That's correct.
The bond insures the assets so that anything that's misappropriated insured.
That's correct. And what they get...
Misappropriation. Okay. Interesting. Sidebar here. This Belinda Conaway character. She was there's a little history. She was the first elected to the office that was previously held by her mother, or stepmother, not biological mother, not Mary Conaway, in 2014. Her father, Frank Conaway Sr., who was a friend of mine, and we were not close, but we were cool, and I liked him. I do not hate the Conaway family. I feel sorry for the daughter and the son are pathetic. I think they're disgusting human beings. Okay, I digress. Frank Conaway Sr. served 2 terms in the House of Delegates and nearly 2 decades as Baltimore City Clerk of the Court. I have friends. My wife worked for Frank Conaway Sr. She thought he was fantastic. I have friends, Happy Dabs. Friend of mine worked for Frank Conaway Sr. and thought he was fantastic. Other people who worked for him thought he was fantastic, and they think his grandson is pond scum. Let's move on. Belinda's brother, Frank M. Conaway Jr., has served in the House of Delegates since 2007. How the hell is that possible? Anyway, Belinda Conaway was the chair of Budget and Appropriations for the Baltimore City Council from 2010 to 2011. So any payments going to the circuit court or any other vendors, any payments going to the circuit court, fees that were paid or anything that was paid out to the circuit court for Baltimore City was her responsibility. She was the chair of Budget and Appropriations. Interesting. Did you get that, Isabel? Did you get that? So, you're going to hear more about this. Certain things I couldn't go over. Legal said, no, don't play that. It has to do with an ongoing lawsuit and a possible pending lawsuit that's coming. So I didn't play that part, but I played what I could so the people could hear my not being transparent. And I'm going to close out with this.
Hate, and it's always a big deal about something that's going on, and it's never the full story that's there. You're accused of kidnapping, but I want to let you know something, Sean. If I start kidnapping people, I promise you'll be the first to know the full story that's there. You're accused of kidnapping, but I want to let you know something, Sean. If I start kidnapping people, I promise you'll be the first to know.
I'm Sean Sims, host of the Outsiders podcast. God bless. The situation is being dealt with and will be dealt with, and we're taking it very seriously. God bless. Take care.